And
Yep.
yep. And we're back with Let's Talk. This is Laughingboy, and with me here is
NintendoCapriSun.
Alright, and we're back with another episode. On the last time we kind of finished up, we talked and finished talking about, I'm really good at this,
Yay!
the Runaway Guys.
TRD.
TRG. Hashtag Team TRG. And on today's episode, we're going to just finish up the interview once and for all. We're going to talk about the present day. I kind of wanted to see what your thoughts were on a couple of things. Just, about the Let's Play landscape recently and how you feel about it.
Sure.
Now, for the first thing is, kind of put yourself in like 7 years ago shoes. You just finished your first LP series. How do you feel?
My feeling is, let's do that again. That's pretty much it.
Like, they felt so accomplished?
Not really, to be honest. It's like, I don't know. I guess, well, yeah, I mean, in some ways, there were some LPs that were gratifying to finish, like Paper Mario 2. Like, I definitely felt accomplished at the end of that one. But I guess at the beginning, it was more of just like, well, yeah, I guess I can't lie, I did feel pretty accomplished then, didn't I? Jeez, now that I really think about it, yeah, Mega Man 1. Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah. Does that feeling kind of stay with you today?
Yeah, in a way it does. It's like, it kind of blows my mind to think that I'm closing in on 100, if not already past it, 100 completed games.
It's a ridiculously large number.
Yeah, it's ways up there.
That's an accomplishment in and of itself.
I didn't even notice it when I passed 3,000 videos. I was like, jeez, when did that happen?
I mean, I think once you get past a couple hundred, you stop.
Yeah, true. You kind of forget about. You don't look at it. I don't look at my numbers at all. I used to look at them like every week, and now it's just like, who cares about numbers?
Well, and it's a really, when you start and it's interesting, you kind of do, and you want to look at the analytics.
Exactly.
But it just starts becoming too serious, I think.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and it does change your tone of how you feel about recording more serious if you're so worried about numbers like that.
Mm-hmm. True.
But, how do you feel about Let's Plays now?
I kind of almost feel like it's starting to die out a little bit, to be honest.
You think so?
I've seen so many of my favorite LPers have just gone and either quit or moved on to other things.
Just life.
Yeah, I mean, even more recently, there's like P-Call. He obviously doesn't want to do it anymore. And it's like, I don't blame anyone for thinking that at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, I'm going to miss you, man, because you were good at it. And, what was there was somebody else and Lansoon, I guess, too, because he was my favorite LPer for a while, and he's still excellent, by the way. I mean, not to say, like, oh, he got bad or anything, just there's other people came along, but his Metroid LPs are still some of the greatest I've ever seen. But, and nowadays it's like, I don't see him, coming back to it on a regular basis. Maybe, I don't know. Like, if they make a new Metroid game, then, like a real new Metroid game, to be honest.
Have your feelings maybe have changed when you started gaining more fans? Like, and not just like LPs at large. I'm talking about like maybe your own stuff. Did your feelings about your own material kind of change as your popularity grew?
Not too terribly much, really. There were sometimes when I would think that, like, well, what's so special about what I do? I don't know. It's like I kind of got cynical about it a little bit for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I guess there was a point where I can't even explain like, I don't know. I mean, you get to, like, I think this happens to everybody when they get popular, but you get to a point where you think that the only reason anyone is interested in you is because you're popular. And that's more what I mean by, like, cynical, not so. Because I'm like, I just play video games. You can't tell me you're really interested in that. You can't tell me that really inspires you. And I shouldn't have been like that. Like, because, like, people have really gotten genuine help from me just by listening to my videos, and I've been told that I've saved people from suicide, and that's a great thing. And, like, thank goodness I've come around from that, because, like, there is no greater honor that I can think of. Yeah, I'm happy where I'm at. And I'm glad that it's come this far. I hope it can only continue.
Yeah. I think a lot of people hope that it can continue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you just as excited or anxious about a new series? Has that feeling changed?
Oh, not really. I think most new series, I'm pretty excited for most new series. Depends on, the thing is, I don't know what the new series is going to be, so I don't know how excited to get, but when I sit down to record that first episode, it's just like that feeling of like, oh, here we go again. It's like you're it's like you're at a carnival and you're trying out a new ride. It's like, let's see how this one does. And you only get to try it once, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Now, what do you think is the most important aspect of Let's Playing? Like, do you think commentary is most important? Do you think maybe the quality, like simply just the audio-video quality? Do you prefer being informative over entertaining, or vice versa?
No, I think to me it's entertaining, and the being entertaining with the commentary is the most important thing to me. But I can totally see why someone would, disagree with that, because people might say, well, if you want to be entertaining, do a podcast, or something like that. But and I can see their point, but but to me the most special thing about it is just this gives people an out. It gives how do I even say it?
It's the same way that people kind of view TV.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not anything as desperate as an escape, but it's certainly something to kind of stress relief.
Yeah, definitely. There does seem to be a huge movement in entertainment nowadays where people like to watch other people do stuff. People will upload videos of themselves eating, and other people watch that.
Yeah.
And people upload videos of themselves, I don't know, stitching or doing these really mundane things, and people get in there and watch it because they feel less lonely, or they feel like I'm having dinner with someone here, even if they don't know it. So I think there's something to be said for I don't know, just doing mundane tasks and having people join you on that, so to speak. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope that's still there in some form.
I think YouTube has allowed that to kind of expand in a huge way. So even if it's not, with streaming, kind of gives a little bit more one-to-one.
Yeah, definitely.
But there is still options for people that kind of want to just watch people play games, eat food, show off, do unboxings.
Yeah, unboxings is great too.
Because it's part of being part of a community when you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, kind of a different question. Different channels seem to have a lot of opinions on what they think is the appropriate, I guess, length of an episode for an LP.
Yeah.
You can either go with 10 minutes. Some people think 10 to 13 minutes is appropriate, but others can be kind of 20 or more. Do you think video length is important to take note of when you record an episode?
Ooh. That's another one of those where it kind of depends on the game. If it's... in the case of Cobra Triangle, it took me a half hour to beat it, so I thought it makes more sense to just put this all in one video rather than to split it into two. Especially since I didn't, deliberately say goodbye at some point in the middle of the video. But I think, ideally for me, it's 15 to 18 15 to 20 is the perfect range. But sometimes, if you just can't find a cliffhanger and you got to go into 20, 23, that happens. I'll even go as far as 30 sometimes, but...
Yeah, and I think that happens quite often in the Phoenix Wright series.
Oh yeah, definitely. Some people still swear by the tens, like Game Grumps, for example. But then,
Yep.
I mean, these days, well, not that it's all about the money, but the money you make nowadays has less to do with your total views and more to do with how many minutes are watched.
Yeah.
So there's that to consider too.
Yep.
So you could argue, I guess, that shorter videos are worse because of that, but then at the same time, maybe it's better because you're not as likely to lose people's attention over the course of that time. So I don't know.
Well, and when you consider Game Grumps releases again, like several videos a day.
Yeah, they got a
all
wide
at the same
demographic
length.
going on there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there are just people that will continue to watch every episode no matter what it is. That can definitely earn them, I think, more money in the long run than just releasing 2 40-minute episodes.
True.
We kind of did talk about this, how you may inspire or how you make other people feel, but do people often tell you that you're an inspiration to them?
Yeah, all the time. Especially at cons, but even in private messages, emails, or Twitter, or whatever, they always tell me that, and it never gets old. It's just, I still can't believe it sometimes.
So let's kind of go into something a little bit different. The way that Let's Plays are being done, they've changed in just 5 years. And what was kind of this little hobby that started in something awful is now this industry practically where networks are involved, creators are making money, just playing games. And you now have different types of creators. You either have people on one end that are just like, I wouldn't say hand-holding, but very walkthrough based, very kind of like to the detail type of walkthroughs. And then you do have channels that focus on not necessarily informing, just kind of entertaining. I kind of thought of it as like you have Chugga Conroy over here, who's like the walkthrough, I don't know, like walkthrough guy. He's, at least for me, if I think about if I want a video player's guide.
Yeah, he's the one to go to for that.
And then I feel like on the complete opposite side of that spectrum, you've got PewDiePie and Game Grumps that focus on entertainment rather than informing the viewers. Now,
True.
How do you feel about like some of the newer types of channels like Game Grumps and PewDiePie?
Well. Well, let's see. I mean, I'll admit I like Game Grumps. I like them as people. I think Ego Raptor is a brilliant person, even though some of his more recent opinions haven't been nearly as well received, and not understandably so. But I feel like a lot of really popular YouTubers kind of jumped the bandwagon when they saw that gaming was bringing in an audience, and now we have iJustine, we have Smosh, we have well, I mean, I don't know if PewDiePie falls in that set, because that's really the only thing he's ever done as far as I know. But, all these people have jumped into it, and yeah, there's so many more, and now you see all of them, like, in the news, and getting on, like, talk shows, and it's, and they're acting like they started this or something, and I don't know. It's kind of shitty, but...
Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like Let's Playing was supposed to be kind of like gamers talking about games with not necessarily other gamers, but people were either informing or just kind of waxing nostalgic, and they have like an emotional attachment to it.
Yeah, it was personal. It wasn't, it wasn't a business. It wasn't all screaming because, hey, that's what brings in all the 12-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it is now with, like, Markiplier and stuff. I mean, I like Markiplier, too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think his, like, stuff on the Game Grumps is some of the most funny stuff I've ever watched. But, yeah, whatever.
But now you have a lot of Let's Players that focus solely on aspects like horror games or just, like, strange, especially free stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I mean, it works for them, so... Do you think... But do you kind of feel like that there's more of an emphasis on entertainment and less about whether or not the game is played well, whether or not you do a walkthrough, whether or not you get 100%.
Yeah, there is definitely more of a focus on the entertainment side of it now. Even though I did say that entertainment to me was the most important, you gotta draw the line somewhere. Like, it's not all about you. There's
One, you don't have to be 100% informative. I feel like the line for me is whether or not you actually care.
yeah, true.
A lot of the other Let's Players that I follow and kind of respect in that aspect, they have that emotional or nostalgic attachment.
I think that's one of the reasons why Minecraft does it so well, is because there's really no game there.
Yeah.
It's just, it gives the person more freedom to kind of say what they gotta say, and if they're good at it, then boom, more power to them, I guess.
Do you think viewers these days prefer failures or reactions that creators like, I'd say, PewDiePie or Game Grumps make?
Man, that's tricky.
Yeah.
I think they probably do. It's like a little bloopers reel of some sort. But you got this whole thing with esports on the rise now. It's like people want to see somebody whiff a few times, I don't know. And maybe it gets to the point where one person has to fail for another person to succeed.
Maybe.
Then people are going to get more passionate about like cheering for one specific side or something. I don't know.
Because, I mean, think about Game Grumps and everyone will remember their Sonic 06 LP because of how terrible it was.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
No, we don't.
I just feel like the more memorable aspects of a channel like Game Grumps are the screaming parts.
Yeah, true.
Now, kind of from that previous question, do you think the LP community seems a little bit more closed off? Maybe about how they run their channels or create videos or like get into contact with other LPers?
I do think there has been, to some extent it has been a lot more closed off. I think people have either, number one, just gotten tired of doing it, or number two, I mean, even in my case, like, I haven't looked at my YouTube inbox in almost a year, maybe over a year now. And I keep telling myself I want to get in there and look at it, because who knows what I'm missing in there. But I don't know, even now I couldn't tell you why I don't just get in there and do it. It's just because I know there's probably like 6,000 messages in there, and I would never get through them all if I did. And it's always such a time-consuming thing. So.
Yeah, I think 2 of them are from me.
Yeah, I guess, and once again with the whole thing where people are growing up, and, a lot of LPers that start out were pretty young. I knew at least several of them that were 15 or 16 and doing it. And by now, those people, probably don't have time to maintain a YouTube channel while working a real job or going to school or whatever. So we've lost, a lot of people that way. And we continue to lose a lot of people that way. So. The landscape's always evolving, for sure.
Yeah.
But
I guess back to what I was saying before, like, you kind of almost have to consider this whole thing in dog years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
really
grown
is.
so fast. How do you feel about blind LPs?
They're very fun to watch.
Yeah, well, and I can attest to that from watching your Phoenix Wright LP.
And in the case of Ace Attorney, they're fun to do, but any other game, they make me a little nervous, to be honest. To do, but not to watch.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't really, like, if it's a blind LP of a game that I don't know, then I don't care as much about the fact that it's blind, because I don't know, I wouldn't know what to do either, and so I can't really cheer them on and say, oh, it's okay, you're so close, like, when you know the game, you can cheer them on because it's like, you're right there, or you almost got him, but, like, if you don't know the game, it's like, you don't know what's going on any more than they do.
Which can also be fun.
Which, true, yeah, that can. Like in the case of Lucagen's Superstar Saga. That one's been really fun to watch.
So, along that line, do you think that your fans prefer your blind LPs over your more informative ones?
Well, I almost think they probably do. It seems like, with judging by like what I was saying before, I get so many compliments on Conkers, even though I consider that to be one of my worst LPs. It's like, I don't know. Maybe people do like him. People seem to be really liking the Phoenix Wright lately.
Yeah.
There's some people who don't like it, but at the same time, the ones who do like it are really vocal about it, which I love. Because sometimes you could do a project and people will love it, but they might not love it enough to feel inclined to say something about it, and sometimes you never know. But Phoenix Wright, I definitely know that people who are watching it are liking it, so that's it.
I kind of noticed that comments are very heated on blind LPs. And we did talk.
Yeah, they are. They get heated sometimes.
Yeah. Do you think that comments are more or less forgiving on blind LPs versus they are on walkthroughs or playthroughs?
No, they're definitely less forgiving on blind LPs, for sure. Because, people... I don't know, man. I mean, when they know a game and they know what to do and they see you struggling with it... it never fails you'll get somebody in there saying, I did this when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
But,
how are you not getting this?
Yeah. It's just people tend to forget that, when you're sitting down all by yourself with a game, and you're not keeping track of time, you'll go on for 2 or 3 hours doing something. And then, when you're watching a video and all you got is 20 minutes of progress, it's not always going to be, the most. It's always going to be what you're hoping for, but...
Yeah. Well, especially, I think, on longer adventure-type games where...
Yeah, definitely.
Progress is hindered by the fact that the game is so big.
Uh-huh.
But, where do you see this channel in the future?
My channel?
Yeah. No, not my channel. God.
At this point, I wouldn't actually be that surprised if I'm still doing this in 5 years. Because I didn't think I'd still be doing it 5 years ago. I thought the law was going to come down on us and make this all illegal by now.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe we're still doing it now and getting away with it.
Well, and
not to say that it's wrong, but,
Well, and getting positive feedback.
Yeah, I mean...
to an extent.
Every day that goes by, I'm thankful.
Yeah. Do you think you'll be around in 10 years?
10 years. Yeah, I do. I think I'm pretty much planning, the plan right now is to do this until I'm dead. So, pretty much, for the next 50 years, give or take.
So what kind of games do you hope to get through in future series?
Well, hopefully I cover my entire catalog of games that I've played in my life, and then get around to some 8-bit classics that I've never played, like Blaster Master and Crystalis, or Crystalis, however you pronounce that. Do the first 3 Final Fantasies, get those out of the way. Hudson's Adventure Island, oh my god.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'm hoping to. Eventually I'm going to have to run out of old games to play, and eventually I'll have to kind of do one or two things: either move on to newer games or just redo the old ones. I don't know. So, and I think with streaming, it's easier to do games that you've already done because there's not it's not as official, I guess.
There's not quite the expectation.
Around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Do you feel like you've accomplished what you set yourself out to do when you started your channel?
Oh yeah, definitely. And then some. I mean, I didn't think I'd get this far. All the Mega Man games, well, all the 8-bit ones. Well, not really. Just Mega Man. There's a few hacks that I'd like to check out. Hacks, that is. Kind of sounded weird.
ROM hacks?
I don't know. It's tough to say because to be honest, I didn't really have that many goals to begin with. I was just I want to start doing this and see how far I get. But I never had anything specific that I was going for. Boy, I can't wait till I've done 50 games or anything. I didn't care. I'm just next game, let's do it. And pretty much go from there.
Is there anything that you could tell your past self from when you started? If there's anything you could tell him, what would it be?
Ooh, man. From when I started, wow. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, number one would probably be get Fraps. It's worth it. Even though it's like $50, but I could have afforded that back then. Because it would have helped a lot with some of the earlier recordings. And it's the most reliable screen recorder I've ever used. By the way, here's a fart. Okay, and I mean, on a more personal note, I would say stop worrying. You're not dying. Because I spent too much of my life worrying that I might not wake up tomorrow, and I have no reason to think that. I'm not sick or anything. It's just I just spend too much time worrying about my own mortality. That's the problem. And if I were to stop thinking about that and stop worrying about that, that's one of my worst. That's the one thing about myself that I probably wish I could change. But that's just a whole other thing. So, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What else would I tell my past self? Lay off the candy bars. Maybe. Yeah.
Now, kind of going on to our last two questions.
Sure.
I kind of want to talk about why I made this series, what I hope to be a series in the first place.
Ooh. Yeah.
Now, one of the first reason was to allow basically all kinds of fans to learn new things about their favorite YouTube creators. But my main focus was to kind of inform and help kind of not inspire, but kick into gear people who are just starting or thinking of starting their own LP channels.
Yeah.
And I wanted there to be somewhere people could kind of go if they had questions about how those that actually really inspired them create their videos. So
yeah.
I feel like I've done what I can without going into every sort of minute detail. And I really hope that this series continues to help everyone in the future. But for now, is there anything you want to say to those who are just starting out?
To those who are just starting out. Well, there was a time when I was in your shoes and everything was all potential. But, if you love games and games, you hear me say that, B in games.
There it is.
No, but if you love games and you can handle talking while playing them, because that is kind of an acquired skill a little bit.
Yeah.
Some people, I guess to some extent, some people have it more than others. But then, well, that's the case with anything, really. But if it's something you love to do, then don't stop, on account of someone telling you, because people will come along and they'll say, oh, you can't do that, or you're a loser, or what's the point, But if it's something you love, then you're not wasting your time at all. We get one shot to do what we want to do in this world, to contribute what we want, and to leave something behind, maybe. But I think that if you do what you're passionate about and what you love, then there is no wrong way to do it. There is no wrong answer to any. There's just no wrong way to do it. You just have to follow your heart. And, if you give it time, leave a lot of comments around, get to know people and network and, maybe collaborate with a few people along the way or whatever. If you find someone who happens to share your interests or your love of a certain game or a certain type of game, you kind of get in with them and message back and forth and whatever. And, it's hard at first because, you don't know who to message, or maybe you don't want to message them because you don't want to disturb them or whatever. And I guess, that's totally understandable. People say that to me all the time. I don't want to disturb you. And, but
I think I've said it every 20 minutes.
Oh, oh my goodness. No, this has been fun, though. But, yeah, it's, I can't promise anything as far as, getting views or subscribers, because I don't know what the key is to that, even. I just got lucky. It was, maybe to some extent, there was some skill involved in what I did. I say that almost redundantly or ridiculously, because whatever. But, it's, luck is such a huge factor in it, more so than I think people realize. So, like I said, don't ever think that you're... Oh my god, I'm rambling here. Just don't ever doubt yourself. Don't ever think that you're less interesting of a person because you don't get a big response or because you don't get a response at all. Because that's not that's probably not the case. I mean, if you've made it this far in life, you're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, who knows? But, you made it this far, there must be a reason for that. There must be a way that you found to get through that. And so, if you want to come a little further, join us here in the Let's Play world, and, we'll save you a seat. But that sounds a little... It's getting into sensationalizing there a little bit, but...
No, I liked it.
Yeah.
Is there any advice to give to those who may be struggling to getting their own following?
Yeah, well, just like I was saying before, just leave a lot of comments, and comments to me are like one of the key. I mean, I know some people say, like, you go to Game Grumps now, and like every other comment in there is somebody trying to get popular by leaving a comment, but that's because it works. Like, if you can find a name that's like really original and that can make people laugh, or even better if you can find an icon to go with it, like Sir Toasty. Have you seen that guy in the Game Grumps comment sections? Man, I don't even know how many subscribers he must have now, but he probably doesn't have any. I don't know. It depends on whether he makes videos. I don't know if he does, but like, getting people's attention is one thing. But every comment that you leave is essentially a permanent link somewhere out there back to your channel. The more of those you have out there, the more people can find you. So it doesn't hurt to leave comments if at all possible. That's half of what I think I did to get where I am. But
Yeah, I definitely agree with the commenting, and just kind of just that overall, just sort of being a part of, because when you think about it, is every single channel has a community, and being an active member in that single community can help you build your own community. I know for a fact, especially with your videos, you have a lot of people, a lot of similar faces, a lot of similar names. I'm not going to name any, but if you watch his videos frequently, you'll know who I'm talking about. And just being a part of that, and just kind of keep just persevering and just keep on keeping on, you're going to make an impact. Sorry, I kind of threw that in there.
No, you're totally right, actually, too. I was kind of... I was trying to think of how I could even expound on that, but you kind of nailed it.
So, I think we're going to leave it at that. This has been a lot of fun, and...
Yes, it has.
I really...
We've done this all in one night, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
We started at about 7:30, and it's like 12:57.
Yeah, Jesus. I need to go to bed.
I guess so.
Yep.
Me too.
And, so... Thanks for everyone for watching. Thank you, Tim, for doing this.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And hopefully this series will continue to run into the future, but for now, I'll just leave you tonight. So I'll see you guys next time.
Toodles!